Messing out the medicines. We've been on that rock star regimen, knowing that I'm heaven sent, higher than I ever been. I got a problem.
Let's talk this main card. Let's talk this. I literally finished my last beer. This is my next one. And this ain't just some beer. This shit is a gin and juice, 8.5%. So I'm smacked right now.
This ain't water.
This ain't water, Playboy?
Nah, it's water.
Let's talk Marcus's favorite fighter on the card, Suga Sean OMalley versus Pedro Munez. This is Suga Sean, 13th in the division. Pedro Munez, number 9 in the division. Woo! I think this is Suga Sean's first ranked opponent, his first real test. I don't want to break it down too much. I feel like y'all got a lot to talk yourselves, so I'll let y'all take the board right now.
Hey, I'll look at it like this, right? These two were the most civil people at the press conference from what I've seen so far. I was not ready for that.
That's surprising.
They're homies, not homies, but like...
the first thing, they were just both one sentences. Sugar Shane said, hey, man, Pedro, he's a great fighter. He's fought a lot of he has a lot of great fights on his resume. Nobody's ever put his lights out. I'm going to change that July 2nd. Hang up the phone. Yeah. Pedro.
Nice and simple.
Pedro. All right, he can bet. He can try. Hang up the phone. Now, everybody else is going crazy. These motherfuckers, the motherfucker with rainbow hair is the one that's just chilling.
I would say last time Suga Sean's press conference, he talked more to a different opponent than his own. Like he literally was like, I'm gonna knock my guy out in the fucking first round. Done with him. And then he started beefing with Cody Garbrandt. Like, bro, you haven't beat anybody since like 2018. Like, shut the fuck up. Like he was like he started beefing with other people instead of his own opponent because he was so sure of his win.
And he's on a 3-fight win streak. Mark, how you feel about your cousin, man?
Hey man, I'm hyped for him, man. I think he's gonna come out here and put on a performance, man. And I might come out. Are we throwing picks out yet? Cause I'm like ready to drop my.
Just wait. Because before you throw your picks, I do have like a like my nerdy breakdown of the fight.
I want to hear a little drop on other dude, bro. I want to hear. I got to hear a little more on him. I'm confident in my Sugar Shane though, for real. I think he'll be a star. You know, career defining little moment. Get a nice little.
And before we drop any picks, how do you guys feel about Sugar Sean's like the way I'm not fighting no crazy big dudes. I'm trying to get the bag right. I'm figuring everything out. Like I want to make $1 million a fight. How do you guys feel about how he does that in the UFC, where it's kind of like you can get fast fights and you can get warriors and you can take an L and still win a championship? How do you guys feel about that?
I'm happy that's the question because I think I have finally found the perfect answer for Suga Sean OMalley. Suga Sean OMalley is the Gervonta Tank of the UFC. His skill set is top 10, 100%.
I love his
but he hasn't beat anybody to even act or talk the way he does, but he does have the skill for it. And it is because he wants the $1 million fight before he fights anybody. And I understand, get your bag, my boy. But there are the Umar Nurmagomedovs, the Shakhmov Rakhmovs. There are people who literally come from the dirt and they don't care about social media. And they're just gonna fight. And they're just gonna get better at fighting. And they're just gonna take over and shit like that. And I just hope Sugar Sean ain't no Ryan Garcia and Gervonta Tank who cares more about building the brand and everything instead of actually going out and getting those big fights. That's the most. If anyone don't know about Sugar Sean, I think that's the best way to, because he does have the skill. Like he has this. His lightning fast speed. I haven't seen someone like since Conor McGregor when it comes to this fast twitch. You can't train it.
And the way he mixed it up, I really like
how he switches his stances. He likes to go from inside and outside the range. His speed is one of a kind. He has the skill set, but when you're beating fucking Pedro Muhnoz and fucking Bruno Silva, like we're beating people like that, and we have other young stars who are going out and beating the Neil Magnies and fucking there's these people who are actually out here right now going to take those fights and winning those fights. he's not doing it. He doesn't seem like he wants to do it right now. He wants the money to mean something first. And like, I just want to see how far that'll take you. Because that's why I think Conor fell off, was because the money mattered more than just the thrive in the game.
Man, I'm actually glad that you guys chose that. Marcus, did you agree with Paul?
Oh yeah, I mean, like the way you put it like that, I can see it. I'm gonna still gas him. How old is he?
He's like 20 something. He is young.
Yeah.
Like, he has the fucking future ahead of him. It's all on him.
It's just more like you gotta start stepping up the competition. I get that he's probably trying to build the fan base to maybe, you know, get the draw in and shit and keep building his brand so then he gets a bigger paycheck. But might be time to start stepping up that comp. And hopefully this is, you know, first step.
I'm so glad that you guys chose that way. That's why I asked the question that way. Because I personally like it. But here's my reasoning for it. I don't just like it. I love it. But here's my reasoning for it. Because I do agree with you that you got the Chimaevs, you got the Sharkscots, you got some real bosses coming, and like all they got to do is learn English. And after that, there is no gap. So I think she's playing a dangerous game, and that's why I love it. Because what he's doing is he understands that he came into the UFC at 22. I'm 23, and I just got my own apartment. Like, this shit is interesting. It's a very young age to understand that there are people still fighting. There are Cowboys and Jim Millers who've been fighting since 2008. Like, there's a way to do it where you can look for longevity. And like, I don't think he came in with the when he started training MMA 8 years ago, I don't think he came in with the intent to be like, yo, I'm going to be in the UFC at 2022. I think he got an opportunity. I believe he was on the Contender Series, and that's how he got the bag. I'm not sure exactly. And now he's just thinking, he's just trying to figure out how to make his brand. He understands his fight style is very entertaining, very, very sellable. And he's doing two things at the same time. He's getting used to the UFC. So I feel like he's going to be somebody that ends up with 30 fights, maybe 30 fights. But the thing about it is he's playing a dangerous game, because if he takes one loss because he has a roadmap and he understands that he's looking for longevity as a plan, but there's going to be bumps on that map. So it might not go perfect. So like maybe missing out these opportunities while you're the hot commodity, the biggest dude, like maybe that could slip away, and then your momentum might go down. So you have to really, the only way to get back up is if you go like on an Oliveira type run. So it's a dangerous game, but I like it because it's longevity and you understanding that you're here for a long time, not just a good time. So like
I like that for real, low key.
Mm-hmm. So like, and the science is only getting better. The rest of the relaxation is getting better. It's up to him to continue to get better and to figure out how to evolve his style, because he needs to get to these 5-round fights. And Pedro Munez, and I think is a great test for that, because I don't think he's no slouch even slightly.
No, not at all. But I will say, like, because he's in the same division as Umar Nurmagomedov. And that's like literally like if someone's gonna get the title fight first, it probably would be Suga Sean OMalley. And I think this is lining up to be Conor versus Khabib 2.0. Because if he gets the belt in this division or whatever, like if he's the star, like, because I think just like Khabib, he wasn't a star when he was fighting Conor. Even when as champion, no one really knew who he was. Like, I remember whenever they fought the first time, and like everyone thought Conor was gonna win. And I was just saying, like, you don't understand, like, Khabib is a fucking different breed of fighter. He's gonna destroy him. So like, I think that's where this is signing up to, because Sugar is gonna be great in his own right, especially in the stand-up. I think he's one of a kind in stand-up. But when it comes to people, when you have a Nurmagomedov in your division, you cannot be like taking it easy.
I feel.
And then he has Jack Shore, Sterling, Peter Yan, like Corey Sandhagen.
And I think, and it might be smart, because give them boys some time to beat up on each other, so that way you can come in and just play cleanup.
What is that? 5?
Ban him. 35.
135, yeah. So everyone knows Sugar Sean. We hyped him up. He has the most strikes landed per minute with 8.26. He has the most differential in strikes per minute, where he outstrikes his opponent by 5.0 something per minute. Pedro Munez, though, he's only lost to literally the top guys in the division. He lost to like Sterling. He lost to Jose Aldo. He lost to Frankie Edgar, Dominic Cruz. Like, those are his losses. He beat Cody Garbrandt, former champion. He beat Rob Font, who's sitting at right now, I think, top 7 in the division. He loves to throw leg kicks, which is something we've seen Suga Sean lose to. He broke his leg, not because he doesn't check leg kicks. So that's something that you have to worry about on that side. Because I'm not saying he likes to throw leg kicks. I'm saying he throws like 40 leg kicks a fight. Like, he makes it a priority to throw leg kicks. He's seen 5 rounds. He's seen.
I like them leg kicks.
One thing that does scare me, though, slow hands, and he's slow altogether. He's a little older, also 35, 36. And when we talk about Suga Sean, we talk about his speed, his twitch, his fucking getting from the inside to outside. He's switching stances 24/7, hopping around. Like, Pedro Munez could make it into a wrestling fight. He could make it into like a dirty clinch fight, but I just think he also might be a little too slow. And I agree with y'all. I think Suga Sean wins this. He also puts the rest of the people talking about, well, if they throw leg kicks, they're going to beat Suga Sean. He's going to see somebody who throws leg kicks, and I think he's going to beat him pretty easily. I don't think he's going to knock him out like he called. Pedro Munoz has never been knocked out, and I don't think he will be. Because he's seen Jose Aldo. He's seen Sterling. He's seen Dominic. He's seen the top of this division, and he hasn't been knocked out.
Somebody got to do it, man. And I think this is such a great test for him because he has to prove that he can do that to real talent. And, like, he has to make it look easy.
To knock someone out that hasn't been knocked out, that'd be some shit, man.
I will say, though, it's a perfect matchup for him personally. I think the UFC knows what they're doing. I want to say they're protecting Suga Sean because Pedro Munoz ain't no pushover, but they know what they're doing with this matchup because Pedro Munoz is slower. He's a more, like, he likes to get on the inside, but he likes to get hit as he gets on the inside. And Suga Sean is perfect to hit you and then get on the outside and not let you get where you want to be. So I think this is a perfect matchup for Suga Sean to show his striking showcase.
Yeah, it's such a good time to be doing a podcast. But this is gonna be a great fight, a great test. Mark, man, let me know how you feeling, man. This is your man. I'm pretty sure I go to the same bar.
You talking KOs? You talking decisions? You talking upset losses? To the same
barber. Yeah, I'm gonna have to talk about this next Saturday.
Hey, it's gonna be a spinning back kick knockout, man.
God damn!
Hey, I think
now
going off
first fight. I think he killed bro with a spinning back flip, and that shit went viral.
He's done it before, man, and. All right, if anything, if it's not a spinning back, that might be a little too.
Nah, stand on your.
Nah, you stand on it, bro.
Stand on it.
All right, man. I feel like he's gonna come out here and do some shit, man, and show that if no one could do it, let me do it. And it's gonna start off the main card. What is the first fight on the main card, right?
Yes, sir. This is second first fight on the main card, back to back.
So damn, fuck, man.
He just starts it off with a bang.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a good fight, and somebody's going down in the third round, and it's up to it's either gonna be because they're on the ground, and because Suga Sean got his fucking legs killed, or motherfucking Sean, like Marcus, spinning back kick, man.
Suga Sean by decision, and that's the way it's going. That boy Pedro Munez ain't getting knocked out by this curly-haired 6'9" motherfucker.
He gotta make it look like easy work.
He's gonna make it look easy, man. He's gonna be like, man, fuck all the bullshit, fuck all the haters. I'm coming out here and kicking this fool.
All right. Well, we got 4 more fights. We got Robbie Lawler versus Brian Barbarena, nicknamed Bam Bam. This might be fight of the night. I already called that earlier. These are 2 warriors who have that Muay Thai mentality of just not quitting. They like to both box dirty. They like to throw elbows. They like to get on the inside and do work in the clinch. They just like to fucking stand and bang, bro. This is a fucking fight.
This is one of my type of fights. I like to hear that.
And Robbie Lawler, like fucking, he's 40 years old, but he was the champion from 2014 to 2016. He lost to Tyron Woodley. That's when Woodley won the belt. He beat Cowboy the very next year in his next fight. Then he lost the 4 next over 3 years. So it was a rough up to 2021. And then he fights Nick Diaz, who came out of retirement after like 10 years and beats him. And that's the older brother to Nate Diaz. And Barbarena on the other side, he's 8-6 in the UFC. His losses are to Colby Covington, Leon Edwards, Vince Luque. So, like, those are solid top-tier guys in the division, and he's just another fucking brawler. We covered him when he fought Matt Brown before, and it was they won fight of the night, like I said they would, because it was just 2 fucking brawlers. And I think this is another similar fight. We're just going to watch 2 people, and both of them multiple times, we're going to be sitting there like, oh, he's knocked out. Oh, he's done. And then all of a sudden that person gets right back up and then he knocks out the other. Like, there's going to be multiple back and forth times where I think somebody's going to be fucking wobbled, dropped, stunned, and it's going to fucking just be a war.
I look at this fight as, damn, why couldn't Robbie Lawler be the over? Is because
let me see. I can tell you right now the favorite. So it's a pick 'em. Robbie Lawler is -110, Barbarena's +100. Literally, it's the same odds, basically.
Damn,
that's scary. I want to pick Barbarena, but like I just feel like Robbie Lawler comes to every fight ready to bang. There's no such thing as a boring Robbie Lawler fight, from what I've been told.
Never.
But I remember Barbarena versus Matt Brown, thinking like, damn, them boys bumped it. But I also thought Matt Brown won that fight.
It was a split decision win, but that was a fight where even Matt Brown, because that was Matt Brown's hometown of Columbus, Ohio, but they both lifted their hand. Like, you know, when a fight's good when both of them are holding hands lifted together, like this, fucking basking in it.
So I'm torn, Paul. Give me some reasonings. Give me, Mark. Let me know what you feel about this fight, and Paul, give me something else. I don't know. I'm torn.
I'll let Mark. You want to go picks first, Mark, or you want me to lead? I got one more drop of knowledge before.
All right, go ahead.
I think they're the same fighter, but I also think Barbarena's 10 years younger. I don't think Lawler can handle that damage at 40. Like, yes, he beat Nick Diaz in his last fight. Nick Diaz coming out of 10 years of retirement, hasn't fought, and he beats him. And he's 40-something years old. All right, cool. Prior to that, you was on a 4-fight losing streak over a course of 3 years. So I think I take that into more credibility than that Nick Diaz when he's coming off of. And I think I'm robbing the books with Brian Barbarena as an underdog, even as a small underdog at +100. I like him. I think he's just a little younger and he can take more damage. And Lawler's is a little older. You know, at 40 years older, you can't take too many elbows in the clinch.
And I was leaning Robbie, man.
You can still go. It's literally a pick 'em fight. Like,
nah, but I think you're right though, man. I think I'm gonna go with Barbarena, man. I think after coming off that big fight too, I remember that fight too. So like, I feel like he's gonna come out here and show and prove that he's gonna just look like the younger fighter. It's still gonna be a war and it's still gonna be back and forth. Might be a toss up at the end, but I feel like he might show that he looked like the younger fighter. Cause why are all these 40-year-olds on here, man?
Because they're names.
Yeah, but you also gotta remember this 40-year-old was champion at like 36 and defended his belt 3 times. So like his age is also just a number. Like Robbie Lawler, he's also like not one of them 40-year-olds that gets hit once or twice and drops. His last fight was still a war.
He gonna have to bring some shit to hurt that, man.
What about you, Kev? You know how me and Mark ride. Are you going with the old dog here?
I was torn until you gave me. Paul just loves to say things a certain way, and like you kind of sound stupid going against that motherfucker. And Paul should be a UFC salesman. I feel like every pay-per-view, I feel like they should call Paul and they should be like, "Yo, I'm gonna need you to just go door to door." So I said,
push
"Hey,
this fighter.
Would you like to buy this?"
Paul,
like, So I'm taking to Barbarena because that fight with Matt Brown was so nice. I was at a gala watching that fight, and I remember just sitting they're over here doing like they're doing their little stuff, and I'm just sitting here like, oh shit. Like, oh, I had to go outside like 3 times watching that fight.
Yeah. Damn.
So I'm taking Barbarena, and I'm gonna bet the house on it. Fuck it. Rent's
That's 100.
Hey, it's July 2nd. Rent is due July 3rd. Rent is late July 4th. So if I don't have that rent, it's because I bet the house.
Yeah, boy, man. Robbie gonna come pick your crib up.
Damn, bro, you sound like you picking Robbie.
Nah, I'm just saying, the boy threw his crib out there. That'll be some shit.
I'm
I
betting
will
the
say
house.
I felt good betting Barbarena, but these next 3 fights is when shit gets a little murky.
A little yeasty.
This fight here, I honestly, these last 3 fights, all 3 could have been 5 rounders, and I think everyone would have been happier.
I feel like I'm not gonna be satisfied with them boys being 3 rounders. I might just Ultimate Fighter that shit. Like, hey man, fuck it, go another one.
Yeah, so we got 25-3, the Tarzan, the crazy man, Sean Strickland versus Alex Pereira, the kickboxing legend, trying to fast track him into a title shot versus Izzy Adesanya, 5-1. How do y'all feel? Especially Kev. I'll let Kev go first because Kev's been watching the preview and the press conference. You've seen the energy people are bringing right now. Who are you leaning or just leading up to this fight right now? The energy brought. What's going on?
Now everybody knows. The reason why I watch UFC, the reason why when Paul made the phone call said, hey man, Totally Blitz Fight Club, I picked up. It's because of Israel Adesanya. So when I heard that this motherfucker Alex put full whatever knocked my dog out, and people were sitting there thinking this is the only person that can beat Israel Adesanya, reigning champion for the last 3 years, I said, I don't care who the fuck he's fighting. I need him to win this fight to get this fast track. Fuck it. That was how I was until 20 minutes ago. And I found out who the maniac known as Sean Strickland is. And I was like, oh shit. Him is busy. Already got tech. I had to stop the press conference because they was beefing so hard. Motherfucking, I need Sean Strickland has to come in and do some maniac shit and fuck this shit up. I don't know what the UFC is gonna do with Alex after motherfucking this fight, but Sean Strickland has to go crazy. But what is Sean Strickland good at? What makes him able to sit down and tell the motherfucker, yo, I would murder you if I was out in the street?
I would tell you right now, this man has never lost in middleweight. 6-0. He had a motorcycle accident. He used to be a welterweight. Only lost the likes of like Prozimbo and Kamaru Usman, which are fucking dogs. So he's like that. Number 4 in this division. This fight reminds me of, y'all remember Derek Lewis versus Tai Tuivasa about like 5 months ago, and it was inside Derek Lewis's hometown. I see it as like the same similar setup because Pereira is a Tai Tuivasa in this situation. He's good at one thing. He is a kickboxer and he is world class. Sean Strickland, he's been in the UFC. He's been here for a minute. He's good at everything. You don't make the top 5 in that division without being able to go to the ground and to stand up. Like, you can do everything. But Sean Strickland, like Kev's seen, the maniac himself, is a very prideful man. And it all depends. Is Sean Strickland going to use his wrestling and use his experience, all that, or is he going to be prideful with his stand-up game and try to go 3 rounds with this world-class kickboxer, Alex Pereira? And that's what I see to me as like the defining point of this fight. What is Sean Strickland going to do? Is he going to, because like just like Derek Lewis, he didn't use any of his wrestling. He just like, oh, Tai Tuivasa likes to stand and bang. Let's stand and bang. And then he got knocked out. So it's like, are you going to stand and bang with this guy because of your pride? Or are you going to actually fight him as like another, like a title contender? Because if you actually picture Pereira as a title contender, I'm going to use my wrestling. I'm going to use the dirty boxing. I'm going to do everything in my arsenal to beat you, not just stand there and be prideful and stand and bang for 3 rounds. which is Sean Strickland's known to do because that man's a fucking maniac.
Wild monster.
Hey, I like the kickboxing style, but I'm gonna lean Strickland, man. I hope he comes out with that dog in him, and like you said, I hope he comes out with that smart game plan and doesn't really overthink it, maybe. But I think he's gonna come out with this energy, man. Especially what I'm hearing from this press conference, that maniac energy, man. I feel like that shit gonna bleed out.
This is literally a pick 'em. Minus 110 on both sides. No one's a plus underdog.
Yeah.
They're both minus 110.
That's cool. How the fuck did Dana coming up? Fucking Dana just with the picks.
Matchmaking on point.
And this is the third fight out. This ain't co-main or main. This is third fight out.
I gotta go with Sean, man. I gotta see, bro. I need to see him hurt something. I want to see him really break something.
I'm kind of scared though, because Alex Pereira in his last two fights, I know his last fight he fought Bruno Silva, who's unranked, but welterweight's so deep, you can be unranked and still be a dog. And Bruno Silva has heavy hands, and he's a motherfucker in the grappling game. And he went 2-8 in his takedowns. And even when he took him down in the last fight with Pereira, because we actually covered that card, Pereira got right back up, like right afterwards. So, and he's like 6'5" in this division. He's massive. So I'm going to go Strickland. I'm going to ride it. I do want to be different than you. I'll go Pereira, but I'm going to ride Strickland because my money's on Strickland. Because I bet on Strickland a couple of days ago when he was a plus money underdog, and I was just like, anytime Strickland's an underdog, especially against a 5-1 opponent, get that underdog money. So, but yeah, Strickland here, hopefully he uses his wrestling and he uses his bag, because if he does try to go straight up prideful, let's just stand and bang, I think it might be kind of scary.
Better come with that game plan, man.
Hey, man, I'm going to be so high because this card is done by this point that I'm going to be screaming at this. I'm going to be screaming at this during this fight. Like, get up, Sean! Get up! I'm really
get up, Sean!
Some Rocky shit, the wife.
This is going to be a long, good card. And shout out anybody that's listening, anybody that's been watching, anybody that's peeping, even if you're skimming through. I don't care if you're working out right now, you at the office, you just taking a shit. Whoever caught up and stayed with us to watch this, and we appreciate y'all, boys, because we finna get into some good-ass co-main event and the co-main event. But this fight card's been so fucking long and so nice, bro. I just don't know what I'm going to be able to do with myself this Saturday.
And y'all are welcome, because if y'all listen to the show already, you know that we always pick winning picks. And we might not always pick the round when people win, but we tell you whether it's going to go to decision or it will be a stoppage. And we have been pretty accurate on our stoppages.
Yes, sir.
So we still have two more fights to talk about. We got the co-main event and main event. We got fucking belts on the line. We got Balkanovsky versus Max Blessed Holloway. This is the fucking trilogy. These boys have fought twice already. Both fights are fucking razor thin. Both went to decision. And now we get to see the trilogy and arguably who's the GOAT of featherweight. I'm going to let y'all go. I know y'all know a lot about this fight.
Oh, bro, this shit is fucking crazy. But I'm gonna let Marcus go first because we talking about the best boxer in the UFC from what I've been told.
This one's got me stuck all week because
this is a fucking close fight.
Holloway, bro, is a fucking demon when it comes to boxing, and like, especially who was it that he was talking shit to, man?
Calvin
Kattar, who is the best, who's arguably one of the top 3 boxers into the, like, pure boxer. He's that guy. And to be able to do that.
Whooped his ass and weaving shots, talking about screaming shit like he's Ali, bro. I went thought Ali did that shit, man. Talking about he's the best boxer in the game. Weaving shots.
I'm the best boxer.
Yeah, and then tagging his dumbass weaving. I'm like, bro, that is the nicest shit I've ever seen, bro.
That looked like some like shit you do to your little brother, like
right, bro. I would feel like shit if I was fucking homeboy missing all them shots.
That's the same fight where Max Holloway, because this is 2 fights ago for him. His last 2 fights was the Calvin Kattar fight where that happened, and he broke the record for most significant and most strikes landed in a fight. He landed like 412 significant strikes, 400 plus significant strikes. Like, if you land over 100 significant strikes, you was doing damage. Like,
and you see his face, like you can tell, like all 400 of them bitches hurt
and hit
while talking to Dana White on the sideline. And like, it only makes things better if you truly understand UFC and you watch Kattar versus Emmett. Even though Emmett won that fight, we watched Calvin Kattar put on a boxing clinic against a top 6 UFC featherweight in the division. So like there are levels to it, and like when they fight each other, they have to change how they fight each other than how they fight anyone else in the division.
And fun fact about that clinic, more like emergency room that he put on Calvin Kattar, motherfucking, he was locked. They were really locked down. He was in Hawaii at the time of the shit, so they were really, really locked down. So he didn't have a training partner. He didn't have a coach. He was with him in the midst, going crazy.
He is considered arguably, and like, I'm not just saying this myself, I've seen people on Twitter community back this statement up. He's the greatest small gym fighter ever. You don't know, and there has no other fighter in his gym. You can't name who his trainers are. When he fought Volkanovski, like, other than what Kev just said, when he had no trainer for the fight against Kattar and put on a fucking one of the best performances of all time in UFC. And then when he fought Volkanovski in the rematch, and where I and a lot of other people think he won the rematch, he was doing training over Zoom because of the shutdown. He didn't have his training coach or nothing in front of him. He was over Zoom doing the shit. And he went on to that. So he's considered like the best. Like, a lot of people give him the nickname like No Coach Holloway, like shit like that. Like, he's just like, he's that dude. Like you can't just not love. Like, he's like the AI of UFC. You cannot not love this dude.
That's fucking crazy, bro.
And it's hurtful. It's hurtful for me to do what I gotta do this fight, right?
You motherfucker.
I gotta do it.
That boy leaked it out. That boy leaked it.
I gotta do it, man. Here's the thing. Adesanya is the reason why I watch UFC. Balkanovsky is the reason why I tune in every Saturday, though. But I found out that these dudes, like, they train together. They both city kickboxing. They be affiliated. And I was like, that makes all sense now, because I fuck with both these dudes a long way. So, like, I can't switch on my dog CKB for life.
Wow.
That repping like that.
CKB for life. It's because I got the chest tag. You didn't know I got the chest tag. CKB for life.
So,
you feel me? So I gotta rock with Ski, man. But Holloway's coming to do some damage.
Before I throw this to Marcus and let him make his pick, I will say Volkanovski has gone better with mixing the takedowns in with the strikes. And we are going to see basically like the Volk all around this versus Max's insane stand-up. But that's the ignorant way of looking at it, because Max Holloway didn't get to this point without having great ground game and great ground defense. Like, he's still in his own right can do what he needs to do.
He's dangerous, man. And I looked at when you look at the first 2 fights, I look at him like, I'm glad you put in that point, because when I look at the old fight, like, Hair Volkanovski versus Bald Volky, I don't know, man. Bald Volky's a different breed, dog. And, like, I don't think anybody has the upper hand in this fight. I think it generally comes to, like, who has that dog in them? Who's really going to go to that last round and just sit down and be like, I'm willing to die right here, homie.
Mark, are you splitting it 50-50, or are you riding the wave?
Fuck, man. Bro, like I said, man, it's been on me all week, stuck. Because like what Halloway fucking Max was doing before, like when he had the belt, like he was going on his run, and then what he's doing now, like he's on a good streak now leading into this fight, bro. It's so hard to go against Max, man, because like
He's hot.
Here boxer, bro. I love that shit, bro. And like he just looked too nice, and I feel like he might be hitting his prime right now or something, coming off these dubs. And that's crazy to say because his resume is deep. So it's like, damn, but
you know what this rivalry reminds me of?
Alexander the Great, man.
Yeah!
What you talking about? Alexander the Great, man. You know what I'm saying? Right? You can't go against the great, man. Max is good and shit, but like he said, man, bald Wokey. Bald Wokey, man. Stop playing with him, man. He's the fucking top 3 pound for pound? Yeah, stop. But
yeah.
I think
there's gonna be 2 sad motherfuckers when it comes Saturday night. Because Max Holloway's going in there and he's getting the fucking belt back.
Better shoey on it.
I put a shoey on it, but like, but Max, he won that second fight. You can't argue otherwise. Volkanovski won that first. Volkanovski won the first. I don't think it was even an argument.
I feel like in the second one, like Volky probably you could argue maybe 2 rounds, but I feel like he only had like 1 round.
The knockdowns Holloway was getting in the second round, like there is like, I give it to Max.
It was a one of those.
And coming in, so we go off the past 2 fights since then. Volkanovski beat Brian Ortega, but Brian Ortega, T-City Ortega, was this close from being the champion. Literally, like this close. Like Volkanovski's not unbeatable like that. And then he goes and he beats the Korean Zombie, who was a fill-in fighter for Holloway. And we all knew Korean Zombie wasn't gonna win that fight. Let's be real, we love him, but he wasn't gonna win it.
It's the heart of a champion, man.
And then Holloway goes out and puts on all-time great performance against Calvin Kattar, which makes him look like a boy. Goes out there, beats Yair Rodriguez. No one wants to fight him. He's the boogeyman of the division. He goes out there and beats him. Coming into it, Max Holloway, I think he's getting it, bro. He's getting this fight, and we'll see a quadrilogy of this fight. We'll see a 4th one after Max walks out with his belt.
Never underestimate the heart of a champion.
From Alexander the Great, man, just the way he can mix it up with the ground, like you said, the ground and his stand-up game. I feel like I think this right here is the fight of the night for sure. For me, it's hands down. It's gonna get fight of the night, man.
Is it going all 5 rounds? Is it going to decision?
No, this is where it tricks him.
Yeah.
Max can't let it go to decision. There's no way in life that in his game plan anything says let this go 5 rounds. I don't think Volky wants to go 5 rounds either, though. I think they're both coming up.
Get it out of there.
So this is where technique comes in, because I think if it stays stays up top, Max is a fucking different breed. But
old Volky though,
Volky can mix it up and get up out of there. He understands he can adapt. So I feel like if he gets to lose in the beginning rounds, he can adjust, and then that's how it's gonna go. But really, you know what this rivalry reminds me of?
Who?
Shawn Michaels versus Bret Hart. Like, I'm like, this is how big this is. Like, I'm calling Max Holloway, Max Hitman Holloway from now on. Like, that's the Hitman right there. He taking out everybody, but my dog Volky, he got Vince McMahon on his side.
We have never seen something like this where there's 2 guys in the same division that just completely outclass anybody else in the division. Because they're completely you sign them up for that fight and you know it's gonna be a slaughter. But when they fight each other, it's a fucking war. And like this is the greatest, I think the greatest fucking like it might not be the biggest promotion, but the greatest rivalry in UFC history when it comes to talent versus talent, it's these 2.
They're the top 2 greatest ever, and they're trying to fight to see who is for real.
And this is a trilogy. All 3 fights was for the belt, man, and it's a co-main event, bro. That shit is crazy.
I didn't know that the first belt, Volky took the belt from Holloway.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Max was on like a decent little run. That's why I was saying, like, it's hard to be like go against him because he was on a run and Volky came out, took his belt, and then
the featherweight GOAT is usually considered Jose Aldo, which Max Holloway completely dismantled. No one could believe the dismantling that they seen on the stand-up game that Max Holloway did to Jose Aldo, because no one could stand up with Jose Aldo like that. So like that just puts in perspective how much greater, like Jose Aldo's probably still up there in the GOAT talks for that division just because all his title defenses, but these two have both outclassed Jose Aldo. And that just shows you, like, Max Holloway came into UFC at 20. He sounds like a vet. He's only 30 years old because he's been in UFC for 10 years, but he came in at 20 years old.
I look-y thought he was.
That's crazy.
So yeah, like, so I can't remember which one of y'all. One of y'all said that y'all think Holloway's entering his prime right now, and I agree with you because like you can be a great fighter in your mid-20s, but you don't have the IQ yet. You don't realize where you beat people and how to like this.
He's like it's coming together for him where he got the IQ and his skill set. I feel like it's just meshing perfect right now. I'll give you that for real.
And give me the plus 175 dog in Holloway. Just because I also think he won that second fight. And anytime I feel like you won that fight, like especially at those odds, give me the dog.
I will say Volky gotta, if he's gonna win this, I feel like he gotta make it more don't put it in the judges' hands and have everybody
decisive. Because even if you go to judges, you can go to the judges with a decisive win.
Yeah, like make it so at least not all these people are, saying like, oh, you should like go at it, man. And also, I feel like Max is gonna have to really put it on him now that he knows that the judges, Max might not put it in the judges' hands. Who knows, man? This one's a crazy one.
All right, let's talk even crazier. We got the main event. We got main event.
The fact that wasn't the main event is insane.
Right, bro.
That's already nuts.
And they say this is a big deal because Brett's from Australia, Volky's from Australia, Israel's from Izzy's from New Zealand. So that's a big deal for the Oceania. That's a big deal for like their side of the world right now. Like to see both of their champions up there on top. And then maybe one day they'll do a big, well, maybe not New Zealand. Izzy say he don't fuck with New Zealand. But maybe they'll do an international fight. We got some crazy shit out there in Australia like that.
Like Sydney, London.
Mm-hmm. But this is a great motherfucking main event. And like this card has been amazing. Our viewers, we appreciate all of y'all for fucking with us and listening with us, man. But Marcus, man, what you know about these two, man? Start us off, man. What you know about them boys?
I know we talking about the GOAT.
We got Cannonier versus Izzy Style Bender Adesanya.
Hey, man, I ain't gonna lie, bro. Bro came down from heavyweight. That is crazy. That shit blows my mind for real because I'm looking at it in like a boxing perspective to go down from like 200 or whatever he was. What was he like, 205?
When he was fighting Cannonier, when you talk about Cannonier, right? Yeah, when he was fighting at heavyweight, like he was coming in like fight day, like 225, 240, because think about it, like you might weigh in as that, but you're putting on weight before the fight because homeboy across from you is 250.
Yeah, he's gonna rehydrate right after the weigh-in and eat a good steak and fucking potatoes or some shit.
That's
meal ever. He came in big. Yeah, no, he is like he has that right hand cannon for a reason. That weight don't make a difference.
That shit really is crazy to get all the way down to what is it, 185, man? And like he looks good at 185. That's the thing. Like he looks comfortable. He looks good in his weight. He looks like obviously the stronger guy in most fights because of that. He got that heavyweight power coming down, and that shit just is crazy to me how he's gotten that good of a shape to drop that and be able to make weight consistently at 185. I give him that.
I respect the fact that he started off this while he was being I want to say he was doing truck. He was working for a truck company or maybe air traffic company. He was doing this in Anchorage, Alaska. What the fuck?
They was working full-time job.
Like the fact that you came all the way here to be headlining UFC 276 in Las Vegas. That's the
Biggest part
dream
of the
come
year.
true, man. Like,
Hey,
and my
that's
dog
why
is
you
so
give up.
regular. Bro
Don't
came
get
out to the press conference in a do-rag. Like, bro's regular as fuck. Like, shout out, homie, for making it all the way this far in the grind. That's fucking insane. Like, he has a one kind of story for real.
facts.
But we got my dog, the style bender. Left. He hits you with a left or right. They say he's never gone for a takedown in his life. It don't matter. Not lying. But Paul, what do you take on this? Because you know who I got. So what do you take on this? How do you break this down? Because Cannonier is a strong. He does have power. He had power all the way at heavyweight. He has crazy power now. But he was losing to Derek Brunson until the knockout. And Israel Adesanya says he's going for a knockout. So this may be a brawl. So we don't know what could happen. So let me know.
I hope Izzy goes for the knockout because Izzy has the stigma attached to him as a born fighter because he likes to stand from the outside, not throw a lot, and just counter strike. He's a counter striker.
He be picking his shots.
Yeah, he counter strikes. He doesn't throw first. He usually throws second. And so that's why a lot of people give him that born fighter stigma. He doesn't have many knockouts. And I think he knows he should beat Cannonier. And I think that's why he's probably going to be going for the knockout. Because Cannonier doesn't bring like a wrestling like Vittori and then brought. So like he doesn't have to worry about takedowns. He's going to be fighting them on a stand-up where he's world-class stand-up fighter. So he's not really worried. But I will say, I think this fight is what Paulo Acosta versus Izzy Adesanya was supposed to be. Because I think Cannonier has the power to really, if Izzy gets a little overconfident and wants to stand and bang, Cannonier could land a strike or two that makes him question that stand and bang mentality of like to start making him pick it. Like I don't think Izzy gets the knockout. I think Izzy goes a decision because of the fact that Cannonier has that power, makes him like, oh shit, like I can't sit here and stand and bang with this guy because this motherfucker has the power of a 225.
In his last fight against Whitaker, he says he didn't trust his instincts enough. And he could have got Whitaker out of there, but he said, nah, let me just stick to the game plan. I feel like if he feels an opening, if he feels Cannonier slowing down, or if he sees him getting slower, he times it right. He could get a good hit on the chin, and that could be what starts making that boy tumble. I don't know.
No, I agree, but the same thing. I've seen a lot of these. I've seen the 22-1. Like I know the people like Anderson Silva lost for the same reason of like I think I'm better than these people, and that's the same mentality Adesanya brings to the game. So like, and he eventually lost, and like shit like that happen. Like there's people who have lost because of their own mindset, and that's my one fear. Adesanya is like because he's almost about to run a full circle on like, other than Sean Strickland, he's about to run a full circle on like the UFC top 15. For the middleweights, and that sometimes kind of gets in your head where not like that you don't have to worry about it, but you feel comfortable, and you never want to feel comfortable when you're fighting.
Yeah, he might lay back a little bit.
I don't know, man. Looking for the John Jones fight, maybe if he can lap the whole division.
Oh, John Jones would kill him, bro. Like just he couldn't even beat Jan, and Jan just lost. Jan lost the glow. Like. John Jones was a different breed at 205. Like John Jones it wouldn't even be a close. That's why I love Izzy, but Izzy at 185 is a different breed, but he cannot move up because he's too skinny.
Yeah. You don't think him and Yuri would be a crazy fight?
Maybe just because Yuri's not his biggest weak, like the styles make fights. So when he fights another stand-up fighter, he might win like against a Yuri, but like if he goes against a Glover, it's not gonna be like all those other fighters. Like anyone who has a decent ground game and 205 will probably beat him.
Now, Marcus, I'm not trying to persuade you or anything or like try to like make you pick your such a way, but I do have 200 pounds of dynamite inside your house right now, and all I have to do is press one button for it to detonate. So, who are you picking for this fight?
Man, easy money, man. Easy, bro.
Hey.
And go, man. I got to go. And I'm really hoping, like Paul said, man, I hope he can get the go for a knockout. It's gonna be hard because you gotta be mindful of that power in the right hand. But I hope he can get a knockout, man. A big main event, big pay-per-view, a lot of eyes on him, and just get that statement and really show people he can close out fights, man. It could be a late round stoppage or
I would love a late round stoppage.
And just like maybe just out of nowhere, everyone's going crazy. He turns it up maybe in the fourth or some shit. But
and then he'd be in there like, they say I'm a boy, and then he talk shit like, they say I'm a boring fighter. How?
Yeah. So I hope he comes in with that type of mindset for real, and that will be exciting, man. But Izzy's one of my favorite fighters to watch just because he's a cool dude outside the cage and
very cool.
Yeah, so I got Izzy all the way, man. That was even a fucking second thought in my head.
I dressed up for that boy Izzy. I was like, oh, too sad. Izzy not playing. I gotta dress a little nice today.
That shit hard. You mind showing the viewers what type of shirt you got on right now? That shit is hard as fuck.
But Izzy, anime fan, so I had to throw on something at least anime related. But dressy with the button up.
You got to plug us in with the website for that one. That shit hard.
But I think Izzy wins. But I do say decision. I don't think he gets the knockout. Like Derek Brunson has heavy hands, and Derek Brunson was putting on a show. He even hit his ass with an elbow a couple times, and Cannonier didn't drop. And Cannonier eventually got the knockout. And even though I thought he was losing, he won that fight. And that's why I think it'll be somewhat closer. Because I think Izzy might try to brawl, but come the third round, Izzy's just gonna, not coast, but Izzy's gonna play it comfortable and just outwork him. That's how he fought Whitaker. He just completely showed like, I'm the better striker. I'm not gonna over engage. I'm not gonna get on the inside with a smaller fighter. I'm gonna use my range. I'm gonna I'm gonna hit you and not get hit, and that's what he's gonna do. And I think he gets the unanimous decision. And hopefully we get the Sean Strickland versus Israel Adesanya after this, or Pierre versus Adesanya, however that fight goes.
You can't go wrong with either or, but I want that Sean Strickland. I need Sean Strickland to look like a straight up maniac.
A fucking dog. We got so many dogs on this card, bro. I wasn't going to do it, but why not? I'm going to take one more shot before you head out. I'm going to let y'all got any closing. We got the Sean Strickland Pierre fight. Robbie Lawler versus Barbarena. Suga Sean versus Pedro Munez. Jalen Turner, the Triantula versus Brad Riddell. Cowboy Cerrone maybe retiring versus another all-time great Jim Miller. Conor McGregor 2.0. Ian Gary versus another super prospect Gabe Green. Ranked fighter Tavares versus kickboxing all finishes Duplessis. Uriah Hall, future Hall of Famer, Dana White hater versus ranked fighter Andre Munez. And then we got the women showing out. Jessica I should have been cut a long time ago versus Macy Barber, upcoming star. And that's UFC 276.
Hey, man. Hey, bro, tune in early, man. Tune in early, and it shit is just going to get better and better throughout the night. It's just going to get better. Great fight after great fight. This time I'm making sure I'm tuned in this time. I ain't drinking on Saturday. I'm gonna be locked in for these fights head to toe, man. That shit's gonna be lit. I can't wait for this card.
Bro.
Got a problem with being problematic. Get the light beam on me, ready for electrostatic. Don't you step into this box if you're not batting. Cause my gang got tools. You could call them boy crap, man. This gang got rules, man. You better watch your passes. This ain't nothing.